Let me tell you the real reason I am excited about the Samsung Galaxy Book S, and it might not be what you're thinking.
Yeah.
This is Geek Therapy Radio.
What are we waiting for?
And now your mental curator, Johnny Hemberger.
Welcome to Midweek Geek here on Geek Therapy Radio. I am your mental curator, Johnny Hemberger. If you are watching this on YouTube, you might notice that the digs look new. I do have my co-host with me. I brought him from down the hall. He is behind me as always. I still need a name for him, so if you have a name for him, let me know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. But I'm going to talk about the Samsung Galaxy Book S, of course, but let me just address the new digs. Usually I was recording in my studio in my day, what would you call it? It's not 9 to 5 because I come into work from noon to 8 p.m. every day, and I work down in KTRH, and that's where I would usually do record this kind of content. So moving down the hall here, the show Geek Therapy Radio actually airs on KPRC 950 AM, but I don't actually have to go in there. It's the 21st century, baby. I can record anywhere. So I moved down the hall here, right next to The Buzz, 94.5 The Buzz here in Houston. This is the dedicated podcast studio, kind of the dedicated content creation studio, so I can come here after work or before work, not be distracted by doing my job, so I can bring you just undistracted content. Those of you paying close attention, you could see me in the videos kind of reaching over and doing stuff. That's because I'm running a radio station. I'm always listening. I was always listening to the broadcast signal, what was going out over the air, because that was my job. Now I can do these videos, do this content, do these podcasts without the distraction of having to run commercials or make sure no one says the F-bomb on the air or things like that. But so I'm just letting you know that's why I'm in these new digs down the hall here. Let's dive right into I can't talk today. Maybe I'll learn to talk in this new studio. The Samsung Galaxy Book S and why I'm actually very, very excited about it. So I'm very excited about it, but I also don't care much about it. Let me tell you why I don't care much about it. It's as far as a product is concerned, I probably won't buy one. I'm not interested in buying it. It is very fascinating that it is full Windows 10 running on an ARM processor, running on a Snapdragon processor, but the product in itself doesn't really excite me. If I have a laptop with me personally, I'm editing videos, I'm editing audio and all sorts of things. I'm kind of a heavy user. I like to game on it, so I need a dedicated GPU. You know, I need my, what I got my laptop right now is just a GTX 1060. RTX? GTX? Yeah, GTX 1060. It's not the RTX 2060. It's the GTX 1060. And I need that for video editing and gaming. I've got 64 gigs of RAM in there. It's a Core i7. It's only quad-core, hyper-threaded i7. It's a 6700 HQ, but it's still pretty beefy. Still got some pretty beefy specs. So the Samsung Galaxy Book S doesn't interest me as far as a day-to-day laptop, just because I use my laptop for functions and tasks that are, let's face it, kind of beyond the scope of what a thin and light, ultra-portable, 23-hour battery life laptop is. If it even gets 23 hours out in the real world, even if it gets anywhere around 18 hours, that'll be absolute baller status. I think the Samsung Galaxy Book S is cool, and I think a lot of people will very much enjoy it. I think it's an awesome product. I think it's a game changer in its own right, again, because it's running on that Snapdragon processor, the full Windows 10. That alliance between Microsoft and Samsung is going to change the game. So here's why I'm really, really excited about the Samsung Galaxy Book S. I'm more excited about what it represents and what is most likely coming down the pipe. So, as most of you Samsung owners already know, I myself have the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. If you're watching on YouTube, that's what I'm recording with right now. I'm still really pissed off that they've taken away Pro Video mode several months ago, so we'll see how well this automatic video mode works, how much the brightness kind of fluctuates and everything. Anyways, so I've got a Galaxy Note 9. My wife has the S9 Plus. Some of you might have or might be buying the Note 10 coming up soon. You may have an S10. Anyways, all of these recent flagship devices, including the Samsung Galaxy Tab 6, have a function called DeX mode. And if you're anything like me, you really thought that DeX mode wasn't necessarily a gimmick, but it didn't really interest you, because if I was going for a desktop experience, I was just going to use my Windows laptop. I tried DeX mode in earnest the other night just to see what it was like, and it's really cool. You get to multitask. It is a desktop PC-like experience, but it's still Android. It's still just a mobile operating system, just sort of in a more desktop-friendly layout, but there's no beating around the bush that it's still just Android as a mobile OS. That's its bread and butter. That's what it's designed for. It's kind of being adapted in DeX mode to a desktop PC-like experience, but it's not really a desktop PC. But here's where things get interesting, and this is why I'm so excited about the Galaxy Book S. It demonstrates that now, in earnest, there have been products in the past that have run Windows on ARM processors, but they were kind of testing the waters. This is the first Windows 10 running on an ARM processor, a Snapdragon processor, that's being mass marketed with this new relationship between Samsung and Microsoft. So I'm excited for the future of DeX. The Samsung Galaxy Book S marks an amazing future with Samsung DeX. I can't wait until an update comes over the air, or however it comes, or maybe it'll be with a new device, maybe the S11 or the Note 11 or whatever have you. But it's going to come pretty soon here in the next couple years, I'm predicting. I'm hoping. It might be wishful thinking. And of course, with all of this, let me know in the comments below again if you're watching on YouTube. I'm hoping that this new relationship between Microsoft and Samsung means that when I plug in my phone to the TV from Type-C over HDMI, that instead of DeX launching into an Android user interface, it launches into full Windows 10. That means you could carry around your flagship Samsung smartphone, and if you have a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse with you, or a keyboard mouse combo, whatever you have with you, that when you plug your phone into your TV, that's your Windows PC as well. Wouldn't that be cool if you could plug your Samsung Galaxy into a TV in a hotel room when you're traveling or wherever you are and have your full Windows 10 experience? That would be an absolute revolution for me and a lot of people out there, to have a device that I do 99% of my computing on in my pocket. So what I mean by 99% of computing is, for me, by and large, the heaviest thing I need to do on a day-to-day basis is edit audio. So if I could have my Cakewalk Sonar, which I prefer to use, or my Pro Tools, or any of my audio software, Audition, Audacity, anything like that, as a full desktop software, not just an app, not just little apps that I have to work around when I use an Android, but actual Windows 10 with my full software, to record these podcasts, record these radio shows, edit the audio with my full multi-track DAW recording software, whether it's Sonar or Pro Tools like I just mentioned. That would be an absolute game changer for me. Now, when I'm at home, of course, I would still use my laptop and my desktop PC for those tasks. But when I go to visit my wife's family in Virginia, for instance, I wouldn't bring my laptop. I wouldn't need to bring my laptop. I just have my phone in my pocket and a dongle in my backpack to hook up to the TV and have a little wireless keyboard and mouse, or some sort of like travel size thing. I could reduce the amount of bulk and weight that I travel with if I can carry a full Windows 10 PC in my pocket with a Samsung device. That's what I'm most excited about. Now, video editing. One of the interesting things to see with the new Samsung Galaxy Book S coming out is it's how it can handle video editing. Now, don't get me wrong here. This is a thin and light device. It does not have a dedicated, NVIDIA graphics card or anything like that. But it will be capable. We know at baseline, it will be capable of some light video editing. I don't think that's beyond the imagination for anyone to think. 1080p for sure. And the videos that I upload here on YouTube, I'm not a skilled video editor, but I know enough to get what I need done. And I do think that if you plug into your Samsung phone and DeX mode and you're on Windows 10, I do think that the projects I work on in Sony Vegas will be doable in a pinch on the road with Windows running on a Snapdragon 855 or even down to an 845 or whatever, 855 plus, whatever's coming down the pipe in the road, even more powerful processors, more efficient processors. I do think that video editing, either in Sony Vegas like I use or Premiere or something like that, will be doable on your smartphone. Not these huge, massive, complex, lots of transitions, multi-track 4K files or anything like that. No. But for what I need, a couple of video tracks and an audio track and very basic edits, putting text on screen, things like that, I think it will be very doable in a pinch. Would I prefer to do that kind of thing on a laptop, a powerful laptop, or a powerful desktop with 64 gigs of RAM and multi-core processors and 105 watt TDP and things like that? Of course, absolutely. But on the road, in a pinch, some light editing, it would be great to do that in addition to everything else you do on Windows 10 with a device that's already in your pocket. The Samsung Galaxy Book S is demonstrating that Windows 10 can run on a Snapdragon processor, the same processor in my Note 9 that I'm using to record with, and in the Samsung flagship device that you may have yourself or be thinking of buying. So that's really it. That's why I am excited about the Samsung Galaxy Book S. Do I want to buy one? Not really. I'm more excited about what it represents and what it could mean is coming down the pipe for all Samsung flagship devices in DeX mode. Windows 10 in DeX mode. Not DeX on Windows 10 like is currently available. No, Windows 10 on DeX or in DeX mode. Basically a dual operating system in your phone. You get where I'm going at. You get what I'm getting at here, So I think that about wraps it up. Thank you for listening to this episode of Midweek Geek. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate if you consider subscribing. There's a lot of content here on YouTube, so it's not lost on me to even have your consideration. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. It's just Geek Therapy Radio. It's on iHeartRadio app, of course, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts on Android. On your Apple device, just click the podcast icon and search for Geek Therapy Radio, and there I am. Make sure to subscribe to it, share it with your friends if you like it, and most importantly, be good to yourselves and others. Please know that you are worthy of love. Know that you are worthy of being loved. Know that you do have something to offer the world that no one else can offer the world. So please just work on loving yourself. Just maybe start by working on not hating yourself. I think that's a good start. Work on, tolerating yourself. That's a big step for a lot of people, and I know it's hard, but just know that you're worthy. I believe you're worthy of that. So be good to each other, my geeks, including yourselves. And until next time, take care.